Welcome back to the Vintage Firearm series. Today we're going to be reviewing this shotgun, Bat for Your Leader. A lot of you probably wouldn't have heard of that gun, but it was a pretty high quality gun back in its day. Part of its company or its associated company or something right along those lines was the Baker Shotgun Company. Now, the Baker was extremely well known, and I know that it was tied to this company. I've never done research on it and exactly how it was tied, but I know that the Baker Shotgun Company was, memory serves me, it was the first pump shotgun or one of the first. I mean, I'm talking way deep into the 1800s, like maybe 1886 or something like that. And they also were the very first to build a single barrel trap gun, which became the rage of the 20s. The highest end trap guns during that period of time were definitely single barrel. And I have quite a few of them because I'm a fanatic about them. But this is considered to be a good company. Now, it does have a Damascus barrel on it, and we hear a lot of negative, and some of it's earned and some of it isn't. But let's go back a little bit, and I'm not an expert at Damascus barrels, but I can give you a little bit of information. It was considered an upgrade of the day. Damascus steel was considered very high quality steel. Under certain pressure loads and abuse and neglect, you can have a lot of problems with it. And so that's why you hear all the things you do. It's not unreasonable what they're saying. When you're considering, and I'm not really a fan of it, I've done it. I'm going to do it today. We're going to shoot contemporary ammo through this. Is it a good idea? I'm not going to say that it is. I would much rather put black powder through this, which I'm going to be doing a lot of in the very near future. Not this particular gun, but all guns from this era, because I respect them. I'm not worried so much about the danger that's going to happen to me. I'm more, only because I don't think there's any real danger if you inspect the gun well. But I'm more concerned about the long-term effect on the shotguns themselves. That's what's important to me. But if I was to consider shooting contemporary ammo for just trying it out, a shot or two, there's a few things that I would take into consideration. First of all, when was the gun made? If it was made in 1860, 70, something like that, I'm against shooting contemporary ammo through that gun. I don't have to hear more. If we're talking the very late 1800s, in the last 4 or 5 years, or the beginning 4 or 5 years of this century when they were still making Damascus barrels, then I'm going to look a little deeper and I'm going to think whether or not that's a reasonable thing to do. In any case, there's always a risk of damaging your gun, and I believe there's a long shot chance of getting hurt yourself. So let's look at the weapon and decide whether or not we're going to shoot contemporary ammo through this. Now, I'm going to check it like this, which is not the correct check, but it's the first one. So I feel no motion there. This gun is solid as a rock. I feel no movement. It's as I would expect it from the factory. The face is completely tight. Next thing I'm going to examine is the locking system. Well, this has, because it was not a poorly designed gun, it has an excellent locking system. I'm also going to look underneath here. These barrels, to the best of my opinion, have not been proved. So that's a concern always. Most Damascus barrels were not proofed. I'm not sure I've ever seen any that were. So you take that into consideration. There are things on here, but I don't see any proofing marks. Within a few years, they were all going to come out with proofing marks. This next thing I want to do is check the interior. I'm looking for anything at all. Inclusions, separations, bulges, you name it. It wouldn't take much for me to decide not to shoot contemporary ammo through this gun. The next thing I'm going to look at is on the outside. There shouldn't be rust on the inside or the outside of this gun at all. Well, I've been separated. Here it is. I'm going to show you, as I've shown you before, that's a pretty good barrel. So the indications are very strong here. There is no play in the face. But I also want to point out to you things that would worry some people, and I would say reasonably so. Let me get these in the correct hands. Look at the wear of the checkering. That's pretty worn. I mean, I think somebody's gone over it, and they've done a good job, but it's an old gun. I have not looked up this gun, but I would say if I was to guess on it, I'd say it was within a 10-year period of the 1895 to 1905. But the locking system is very important, and that may be why it's so very tight. So that's basically it. That's it about the gun that I am going to shoot today with contemporary ammo. Now the other thing I might point out is I'm not going to shoot heavy loads through it. You know, you also, if you were crazy enough to shoot a heavy load through this, and I looked at that as being crazy, you know, I don't see, there were some markings that were probably choke markings, but sometimes different companies have their own markings, so I don't go too much on that. Let's see what we got here. Looks like a full choke on that one. It's full and full. So that would add a little bit of pressure to it, but I don't think I'm too concerned about it because of the type of ammo I'm going to shoot through it. I want to talk to you about other companies because, like, again, we have to realize what Damascus barrels were during the time. It was Damascus steel, considered at times to be the best quality steel in the world. So let's go ahead and pull out another gun. This is a company that I picked these out of the gun vault. These are all guns that I believe are high-end guns that use Damascus barrels. Now this was Lefebvre. Now you probably, I'm not going to say you haven't heard of it, but I'm not going to say that it's one of the top brands out there. It's one of the brands that was super high quality, but you might not have heard of it. And it was eventually acquired by Ithaca. And we did a review on a Lefebvre. It was a single barrel trap from the 20s, and it was so heavily used that the sides of the metal the fingers had actually worn it down. So it was very heavily used. Notice this gun as well. Notice the locking system. It's pretty impressive. So this is another high quality gun that used Damascus barrels. Now when you first look at this gun, this is what I would call a transitional time. You look at this gun and you probably think, oh my gosh, that's a really old gun. Well, it is old. You're right about that. But it's not as old as you think it is. You know? Never let them hammers slam down. So who was the manufacturer of this gun? Well, I happen to know for a fact who it was, because I've owned this gun for a while. The dealer that sold it to me gave me a real cheap price on it because it was a Damascus barrels. I think I paid $600 for it. But what I saw on it is it said L.C. Smith. And in doing research on it, and I wasn't surprised by this, this exposed hammers gun was made in 1902. So what was happening in 1902? In 1902, they had already long started turning over to nitro, which was the contemporary ammo of the day. It's pretty close to what we have. Not quite, but pretty close. Because in 1893, Winchester, kind of oblivious to the world, came out with the 93 shotgun, the Model 93. It was a black powder only gun and really should have only been used with black powder. But the next year they came out with the Model 4, and that was designed, of course, by John Browning, and it was designed as a nitro-powered gun. Although the first few calibers that were made in it were made for black powder, it was designed for nitro. So within, I think, a year afterwards, they came out with the legendary 3030. And and I've talked about this before, but I think it's important because it tells a frame of mind of the gun manufacturers at that time. By 1897, I'll say 1997, by 1897, they came out with the Model 97, which was a black powder gun, and they realized that they wanted that 93 off there. It was too close. They knew that it wasn't made like 10 years earlier. Then they could say, hey, you know what? It was made 10 years ago. You shouldn't be shooting contemporary ammo through it. It was made 3 years earlier, and was probably still being made up until the time the 97 came out. So if you walked in with your 93, they gave you a 97, but if somebody offers to trade you their 93 for your 97, take it. There's only 2,500 of them left, and that's an estimate because they were all traded in. So here we have an L.C. Smith, I would call very high-end shotgun. At the time, it was just a super well-made shotgun. It wasn't super expensive, but it was super high quality and well respected, and I have oodles of them. So now we've talked about the Lefebvre, the L.C. Smith, and this is a company that some of you might recognize for certain. This also has Damascus barrels from about the same period of time. It also locks up tight. You know, we could pull off the forearm. I won't bother. I believe it'll still lock up tight. It's known as a Parker. So it's a very respectable gun. And if you look at it, it's well worn, everything along those lines. Damascus barrels. You know, if you were to shoot contemporary ammo through this every day, it would probably loosen up. More importantly, it would be a hardship for the gun. And they're not going to make any more of these. This is it. That's all they're going to make. So we get back to this, our 12 gauge Oh, this is interesting. Okay. On the side of the gun, of course, it says Bat Via Leader, but I know for a fact that this was connected with the Baker Gun Company, and look what I see on the bottom. Okay, and that to me is an original butt plate. It's even got cracks and stuff in it. It says Baker all over it. So this is a quality gun, and we're going to go ahead and throw some, just target ammo through it, 7.5, 8, something like that. And I don't believe it'll be much of a risk. We're going to go shoot some cans, and we'll see what happens. Take it easy. I'll see you outside. Okay, so here we are. We're back out. We got perfectly good, usable cans to shoot. No sense in retiring a perfectly good can. It's got more life, a lot more life left in it, wouldn't you say? And we're going to shoot this one too. And this one's got like a hat or something on it. So in any case, let me run down and put these down there, and we'll be back. Okay, I want to talk a little bit, by the way, I've already got these in here. It's on safe. I love the way it says, that was foolish of me. Okay, I love the way it says safe right in the box. But this is a really nice safety system. I don't know if they use it anymore. I don't buy new guns, but very rare. But it was popular in high-end guns. Now, here you had safe, and this was off safe. Yeah, I don't think it'll go up there until you close it. Now it's ready to fire. But this, when you open it again, it automatically goes to safe. Now, in this, if you close it now and you drop it, that's like for bird hunting. It does not come off safe now. So you can open it and it stays. There's no safety on that gun. And that was designed for very knowledgeable bird hunters and things like that. So, shall we let the festivities begin? Go for the left one first. And the right one. Oh, it's no, it's still good. I wanted to make sure that I had to think about what the safety was going to do. It's when you open it. It kicks back. There you go. Looks fine. Still got some smoke coming out, doesn't it? So let's go back inside. We'll clean it up. We'll check out the barrels. And we'll save these for reloading on black powder. Well, here we are back in for our final review. The gun made it fine. We'll go ahead and check. Just as tight as it ever was. Like I say, there's an element of risk, but a little piece in here that has to line up correctly, and it's not wanting to do that. Okay, we'll get this later. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean our gun. And then we'll check out the barrels. Again, the important thing was we checked out the condition of the gun, and we shot very light ammo through it, and we accept that there's a chance that the gunner or you could get hurt, but that's also true with any gun, but probably just a little bit more so when you're shooting a vintage firearm like this. So do I recommend it? No. Will you die if you do it? Probably not. Like I said, I think the more likely scenario to me is the long-term damage to the gun, and that's not a good thing. So I think that you have to consider that. And that's why you should shoot black powder. Besides, black powder is a blast. I'm just getting back into it now. Our family used to do it when I was in my teens. And I think that was kind of a cool thing. So let's check out the barrel. Looks fine to me. Let's hold it up to our light here. We don't have real bright lights in here, but it's perfect. So there you have it. You can shoot contemporary ammo through a gun in excellent condition, and you have to be knowledgeable enough to be able to determine that, and or the gunsmith that you take it to must be knowledgeable enough to be able to determine that. Not a lot of old. There's not as many gunsmiths anymore that are familiar with old guns, and so some of them really wouldn't be qualified to say. I'm not cutting them down. I'm just saying it's not what they specialize in. So until tomorrow, and very soon we'll be shooting up some black powder and have all the smoke come out, and I'm really excited about that. And there's a certain smell of it too. It's just fantastic. So I hope that you'll come back and see me, and I'll see you again very, very, very soon. Bye-bye now.